once we are done with the voting conditional display, let's focus our attention to something called as displaying data in a list format. Most of the times when you are making an application, you will be requiring to display data in the form of lists. This is done with the help of a control called as list view. Okay, so the analogy is quite simple over here. Whenever you want to display some text, you have a text view. Whenever you want to display something in the form of a list, you have a list view. Whenever you wanted to display an image, you have an image view. Whenever you want to display a video, you have a video view. Okay, so the names are very logical. A list view will allow you to display data in the form of list, and this will be a list of views that you will have at the output. So we can safely call list view as a list of views. That is, you have multiple views displayed in the form of a list. Let's explore a built-in list view with Android. We'll create a project with the name list demo, and we'll have the layout which looks something like this. Okay, if we look at the first time, we'll see that there are just two controls over here, that is the edit text and the button. But in actual reality, you have three controls. You have the edit text, you have the button, and you have the list view over here. Okay, and this is a linear layout which is vertically arranged. So we have a linear layout. You have the edit text. We'll give the ID of the edit text as txt item. We have the button. We'll give the ID of the button as btn add. And we have the list view. We'll give the ID of the list view as lst items. Okay, so far so good. We have three controls: the edit text, the button, and the list view. Step one is very obvious. We have to get the control reference. So we'll get the control reference of the button, of the edit text, and of the list view. Getting the reference of the list view is similar to getting the reference of the other two controls. We say final list view, the name of the control, equals to list view find view by id r.id.lst items. This was the ID of the list view that we had given in the previous slide. Now let's create a list to store the data. First of all, understand the fact that list view is a control which is only used to view a list. That is, it does not store data, it is only used to view that data. Okay, so first of all, we have to create a list to store that data, and then we have to pass this list to the list view to display that data. Okay, so a list view is only used to view data but it does not store it. Thus we first need to store data in the form of a list so that we can display it in the list view later on. The ArrayList class of Java is used to store items in the form of list. So we have to have a class, or we have to have an object of type ArrayList where we can store data. To store that data in the form of an array list, we have to create an object first. To create the object, we have to say final array list, this is the name of the class array list, arr items equals to new array list. Now this array list will contain list of strings, so we will say final array list in bracket string arr items equals to new array list of string. This indicates that this arr items is an array list of strings. Okay, so let's move ahead. Let's write the on-click listener for the button. Now in our application, whenever we click on the button, the item should be added to the list view. So to do that, we have to write the on-click listener for the button. So we will say btn add.set on-click listener, new on-click listener, public void on-click. Inside this, we have to first add that item to our array list. Remember that arr items was the array list, and the array list is used to just store that data. But whenever the data has been stored, we can pass this array list to the list view to display that data. So first of all, we have to create the arr items array list to store that data. So we'll say arr items dot add. What item do we want to add? The item that is txt item dot get text dot toString. This txt item was the ID of the edit text, so we gave the edit text dot toString. So we have to get the text of the edit text and add it to the arr items. Now once this ARR items is filled with elements, then we have to pass this ARR items to the LST items. Okay, so we have to first understand the concept that list view displays a list of views, whereas ARR items contain a list of strings that it has inside it. So we have to convert this list of strings to a list of views. The process of converting from the list of strings to a list of views is called as adaptation, or it is called as adaptation from string to a view. To do that, we have to write something like this. We have to say lst items dot set adapter. Okay, we are adapting from a string to a view, so we will say lst items dot set adapter new array adapter, because we are taking data from an array list, so we will say new array adapter. And we have to say that we want to convert from string to the view. That is why we are saying new array adapter of string. In bracket, we have to pass the activity name dot this, comma, android.r.layout.simple_list_item1. This will indicate how the conversion will take place. We have to simply convert the array list into the list view in a simple list item format. So we will say android.r.layout.simple_list_item1, comma, ARR items. This ARR items is the object of type array list. So we are saying lst items, that is the list view, dot set adapter, because we have to adapt from ARR items to LST items, new array adapter of string. In bracket, this is our activity name. In our case, this name will be main activity. In this case, it is list demo, so it's not a problem. We have to give main activity dot this, comma, android.r.layout.simple_list_item1. This indicates that you have to convert the ARR items into a view. That view will be defined by a simple list item, comma, ARR items, that is the source of data. Once you are done with this, Android will actually take all the controls or all the items that you will be adding and converting them to views and displaying those items inside the LST items control. So far so good. By this we have actually completed the application, but we have to add some more functionality to the application, because whenever we are adding items to the list view, we want that whenever a user clicks on those items, something should happen. To do that something, let's see what we have to perform. We have to first make sure that whenever a user clicks on the list view item, an event named on item click is sent by the Android OS. Okay, whenever someone clicks on a button, an event on click is sent by the Android OS, but whenever someone clicks on the item of a list view, an event named on item click is sent by the Android OS. We have to listen to this event. So to listen to that event, we have to create an on item click listener for the list view. Okay, so we have to listen to the on item click of the list view. So we have to add an on item click listener for the list view. So to do that, we have to use the following syntax. We'll say lst items, that was our list view, dot set on item click listener. This is the on item click listener, new on item click listener, and I'll say public void on item click. Okay, now inside this on item click, Android passes some arguments. It passes the adapter view, the view, and one integer and one long. Okay, out of these 4 parameters, the parameter of use is this view. This view indicates which view has been clicked. If you have a list of multiple views, out of those views, which view is clicked. So in our case, whatever view is clicked, we have to first convert that view into a text view, get the text from that and display it on the screen. To do that, we'll first convert this arg1 into a text view, because whatever we are seeing on the screen is in the form of a text view. So we'll say text view txt equals text view arg1, this is the first argument, that is the view argument. Then we have to have a message by saying you selected txt, that is the text view, dot get text dot toString, and we'll toast this thing at the output. Okay, so by this, whenever a user clicks on any item of the list view, this on item click listener will be called. Inside this on item click listener, we'll convert that view into a text view, get the text from that text view, build a message by saying you selected that text, and toast that message at the output. Let's do it in actual practice and see how do we get along with the list view. Okay, let's do it for the list view application that we wanted. We go to File, so New, Android application project. Let's give the name of the application as list demo, package name as com.fitech, the build SDK to be Android 2.3.1. Uncheck on this, next, next. Give the title of the application as list demo. Press finish. The application will be created. We don't want this control, so I can right click on this and say delete. Delete the control. I want the layout to be linear layout, so right click on this and say change layout. Okay. I want edit text over here. Let me add the edit text. I want a button. Let me add the button. And I want a list view. List view will be obtained in composite. So we go to composite and say list view and add it over here. Okay, it added the list view, the button, and the edit text. Let's change the ID of the controls. Right click, edit ID, give it txt item. Let's give a hint over here. Enter the item name. Let's right click on the button and say edit ID, btn add item. Right click and say layout width, match parent. Right click and say edit text. Click to add item. Right click on the list view and say edit ID, lst items. So far so good. We have made the layout. Let's try to run this thing and see if we can get the output. Right click, run as Android application. This was the output of the first activity that we created. This is the list demo layout. Nothing is happening when we are clicking on the button because we haven't added the on click listener for this button. Let's do that. We'll go to the src folder and go to the main activity. Inside this, after the set content view, let's say step 1, get the reference of the controls as the final edit text, txt item equals to edit text, find view by id r.id.txt item, that's fine. Final button btn add equals to button, find view by id r.id.btn add item. Then I have final list view lst items equals to list view find view by id r.id.lst items. So far so good. Now the list view will be used to only display the items on the list view. We want something to store the items, so we'll have an array list. Mark the syntax of the array list as a final array l control space. It will give me array list of string because we want to store string items. The name of the object should be arr items equals to, I'll say new array list semicolon. It's that simple. You have to just create an object of type array list. The item must be added whenever we click on the add button. So we'll say btn add dot set on click listener, new on click listener. Can you tell me why there's an error over there? Because we haven't imported on click listener. So just take your mouse on click listener and say import on click listener. It will import it and the error will be gone. Okay. Over here, now we will be actually starting with the code to add the item inside the array list first and then inside the list view. So I'll say arr items dot add. Where's the item that we want to add? Inside txt item. So I'll say txt item dot get text. You don't have to say get text color, you have to say get text dot toString, because we want to convert that text into a string form. Once we are done with this, then we can actually convert this array list of string into a list view of views. So I'll say lst items dot set adapter new array adapter, control space, it will give you array adapter. The first argument is the context in which we want to add this list view. I want to add the list view inside my activity, so I'll say main activity dot this. The main activity is the name of my activity, so I'm giving main activity dot this. The second argument says how you want to convert the controls, so I'll say android dot r dot layout dot simple list item 1. Okay, you see that I am not required to type the complete thing out. Eclipse gives this to me automatically. I'll say android dot, it will give me a list. I'll say r dot give me a list. I'll say layout dot give me a list. I'll say simple list item 1, comma, the source of the items is arr items. Okay, press semicolon. It will give me an error. The error is because we haven't mentioned which type of array adapter we want. We'll just go to array adapter. We have a T over here. T stands for a generic template, but we don't want a generic template. We want it to be an array adapter of strings. So let me say array adapter string. So let's run the application and see if we can get the output of the application. Right click on list demo and say run as Android application. Come to your device. It will upload the application on the device, install the application and start the activity. Let's enter the item name, say mango, mango. Press enter, add item. Hope the item is added. Let's add the other item to say banana, banana. Press enter, adds the item banana over here. Let's add the third item, say kiwi, wi. Press enter and say click to add item. As you can see, all the items are being added, but when I click on an item, nothing is happening. Can you see this? This is because we haven't written the on item click listener for the list view. Let's write it and see what happens. Come to your code. Below the click listener for btn add, you say lst items dot set on item click listener. Okay, you have to add an on item click listener, not an on click listener. On click means you're clicking on the complete view. On item click means you're clicking on one item. Press enter over here and say new, control space, it will give you the option. Press semicolon over here. Now you have to do two things over here. First of all, you have to import on item click listener. You will say import on item click listener. It will import that. Still the error will not go because you haven't implemented the function on item click. To do that, again come to the on item click listener and say add unimplemented methods. It will automatically give you the method on item click. Okay, let me do it once again. I'll just remove everything from here. I'll say lst items dot set on item click listener new, control space, on item click listener, semicolon over here. I'll just click on, go over here, hover the mouse and say add unimplemented methods. It will automatically add the method over here. I have to add the code below to do. The meaning of to do is Eclipse has done its work. Now it's our turn to add our code over here. Let's add the code to first convert this view argument into a text view. We'll say txt text view, txt equals to text view arg1. Okay, if you can see your screen, this mango, banana, kiwi, all these are a text view, right? These are not edit text, but these are text view. So we have to first convert each of these whenever we click into a text view. So we have converted that rightly over here. Then we'll say string message equals to you clicked on plus txt dot get text dot toString. Okay, it will give you the output. You clicked on the item that you have clicked on. To give a message, I'll say toast dot make text get application context, or I can write main activity dot this. Both are good. Second argument is the message that I want to pass, and third argument is the duration that I want to pass. Let me give it 1000 milliseconds dot show. Right click on the project and say run as Android application. Come on the device. You have to first add the items, because whenever the application will run afresh, all the items will be removed. So let's first add some items over here. Let me add guava. Let me add the second item to be mango. Let me add the third item to be, ANGO. I didn't press on click to add item. I added the item. Let me add third item to be, say, chiku. That's an Indian fruit. If I click on add to item, all the items will be added. When I click on any of the item, it will give me you clicked on that item. Okay, I hope you are able to get the output. This is because we implemented the on item click listener for this list view.